Okay, good day. In this video, I'm going to present to you how to sketch the graph of an ellipse and how to determine the different parts of an ellipse where the center of this ellipse is located at the origin. I have here a table of the summary of the parts of an ellipse having a center at 0, 0. Also, I have here a figure that shows how the parts of a horizontal ellipse is plotted on a plane. Okay? So, isa-isahin natin itong mga to. Doon muna tayo sa table um, that summarize the parts of this ellipse with center at the origin. Okay? So, we have here the standard equation of an ellipse, x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared equals 1. Now, this equation has equivalent graph of this one, a horizontal ellipse. Okay. The foci is located at C0 and negative C0. Bakit ganun yung foci? Remember that the foci has a distance of C from the center of the ellipse. Ibig sabihin, from the center, ang layo nung foci natin is C units. So therefore, ang coordinates of the foci will be the horizontal distance and then the vertical distance. That is the ordered pair of F1 and F2. Now, given naman yung horizontal distance, C, and yung ating pong focus is located on the x-axis, therefore the vertical distance is 0. Therefore, ang ordered pair of F1 will be C0. Okay? For focus number 2 or F sub 2, ang kanyang ordered pair will be the horizontal distance, comma, the vertical distance. The horizontal distance is C. But since nasa negative side sa ng x-axis, therefore, the horizontal distance will be negative C, comma, 0. Okay. Yung vertices natin, bakit ganito ang kanyang ordered pairs? Now, alam natin, ang length ng semi-major axis is equal to A. Okay? So, from vertex to vertex, that is 2A. Half of the major axis is A. So, that will be from center to, the distance from center to V, or the vertex, is equal to A. That is half of the major axis. So, if we're going to locate the location of V1 and V sub 2, or vertices of our ellipse, that will be the horizontal distance, comma, the vertical distance. The horizontal distance happens to be A. So therefore, the location of V sub 1 will be A, comma, 0. At yung V sub 2 natin, or vertex 2 natin, is negative A, comma, 0. Okay? And for the covertices, ito yung endpoints of our conjugate axis o minor axis. Ang height nung ating pong yung length of our minor axis is 2b. No? So, ang kalahati nun, semi-minor axis is b. So, kung kukunin natin location ni B1, that will be horizontal distance is 0 kasi along y-axis siya. At ang kanyang vertical distance is b. So, therefore, ang location ni B1 is 0, b. Okay? For B sub 2, ang location niya will be 0, ang kanyang horizontal distance because siya ay along y-axis and then the vertical distance is negative b. Okay? Bakit? Kasi lower part siya of our x-axis. So 0 negative b is the location of nung isang endpoint nung ating covertices. Okay? When it comes to endpoints of latera recta, okay? The plural of latus rectum. Ang formula ng latus rectum natin para makuha natin is 2b squared over a. So, ang kalahati niya will be b squared over a. Yan yung haba. Okay? Yung ating latus rectum. At ang latus rectum, always nadadaan siya sa focus ng ating ellipse. So, sa makatwid, from focus to one of the ends of our latera recta, ang length nyon ay b squared over a. So, b squared on top, b squared over a at the bottom. So, pag pinagsama natin yung E1 to E2, that will be equal to 2b squared over a. Okay? So, therefore, ang location ng endpoints, E1 and E2 will be horizontal distance C, then the vertical distance b squared over a. So, that will be C, comma, b squared over a. At the bottom naman, we have horizontal distance is C, vertical distance downward, negative b squared over a. Okay? At yung dalawa naman, E3, E4, the horizontal distance is negative c, kaliwa. Then vertical distance is b squared over a. Positive siya kasi nasa second quadrant. And then E4 will be negative c, horizontal distance. Vertical distance is negative b squared over a. So therefore, ito yung location ng endpoints ng ating latera recta. Okay? Now, when it comes to the directrices, the equation of the directrices is equal to x equals positive minus a squared over c. Yung a squared over c is actually yung distance ng horizontal distance of the directrix from the center of our ellipse. So sa makatwid, from here up to this point, ang layo nun is a squared over c. A squared over c to the right, to the left is negative a squared over c. So therefore, ang equations niya is just positive negative a squared over c. Okay? So, yon yung ating kailangan. Yan ang mga kailangan nating ordered pairs for us to sketch the graph, the ellipse, with center at the origin. Now, when it comes to the second standard equation of the ellipse, pabaliktad lang siya. No? Ibigay ako ng halimbawa mamaya. Pag ganun siya. So, ito yung magiging B1 mo, ito yung B2, ito yung B1, ito yung B2, ito yung E sub, ito yung E sub 1, okay, E sub 2, E sub 3, E sub 4, this is your F sub 2, this is your F sub 1. Okay? Same pa rin yung, by the way, yung directrices number here. Ito yung D sub 1, ito yung D sub 2. Naging vertical lang yung ating ellipse. Now, I'm not going to discuss the location of the foci, vertices, co-vertices, at endpoints of lateral recta, and including the equation of the directrices for this equation. Pero same definition lang siya, no? Same definition lang. Ang distance ng focus natin from the center is always C. The distance of the vertex from the center is A. The distance of the co-vertex to the center is B. Okay? So, basta't lagi nyo lang tandaan, latus rectum is 2b squared over A. And another formula to compute for C, which is the location of the focus or our focal point, is A squared minus B squared. Okay? C squared equals A squared minus B squared. So, this formula and this formula napakahalaga, okay, in finding the focal point and the length of the lateral recta. So I'm going to give you 2 examples in sketching the graph of an ellipse with center at the origin. So this will be my first example in sketching the graph of the ellipse with center at the origin. And also given is the general equation of an ellipse. So we have example number 1. Sketch and discuss 4x squared plus 9y squared equals 144. Before we can sketch the graph of this ellipse, the first thing that we're going to do is to convert the general equation to standard equation of an ellipse. So i-convert muna natin. So we have 4x squared plus 9y squared equals 144. So, kapag i-convert natin siya sa standard equation, dapat yung right side of the equation ay equal sa 1. So, para maging 1, yung right side of the equation, all we have to do is to multiply both sides of the equation by 1 over 144. Okay. So, 1 over 144 times 4x squared, so that will be 4x squared over 144. Plus 9y squared over 144. And 144 times 1 over 144 is 1. Now, we simplify these expressions. How? So, divide 4 and 144 by the HCF or GCF. That is 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1, so x squared. 144 divided by 4 is 36. And last, 9 and 144, divide both the numerator and denominator by 9. We have y squared on top. 144 divided by 9 is 16 equals 1. So this is now your standard form. Okay. So dalawa yung ating standard form ng ellipse, center at the origin. Say x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared equals 1. The other one is x squared. Ayan, sulit ko muna isa. Oh, sorry. It will be b squared. And since yung ating pong denominator ni x squared is larger than the denominator ni y squared, and we all know that a is always greater than b. Okay? So, ito yung ating standard equation instead of the other one. Yung kabila kasi, yung isa kasi is y squared over a squared, x squared over b squared equals 1. So, itong gagamitin natin. No? Yun ang kamatch niya. Bakit? Kasi mas malaki yung denominator na x squared kesa sa denominator ni y squared. At kapag ganito ang equation natin, major axis natin is the x-axis. No? Yung minor axis natin nasa y-axis. Okay? And then, we determine the values of a, b, and c. Solving a, b, and c. And also, LR na rin. Latus rectum. Maya-maya na. So, paano yun? Imamatch lang natin. A squared equals 36 and b squared equals 16. Therefore, a equals square root of 36 and that is c. B squared equals 16. Square root of 16 is 4. Therefore, b equals 4. And to solve for c, we use the relation c squared equals a squared minus b squared. Okay? Paano yun? Plug in lang natin yung values of a squared and b squared. C equals square root of 36 minus 16. Therefore, c equals square root of 20, or that is equal to 2 square root of 5. In decimal, that will be equal to 4.47. Okay. Then, the last is we determine the length of the latus rectum. Okay. Solving LR. Ito na tayo. Solving LR. LR is equal to 2b squared over a. Okay? Paano yun? So, we have 2. B squared is 16. Over a is 6. So, cancel to. May matitira ditong 3. Therefore, LR is 16 over 3. In decimal, that is equal to what? 16 divided by 3 is 5.33. Okay. We need half of LR sa pagpa-plot. So, we need LR over 2. LR over 2 is 16 over 3 over 2, or that is 8 over 3. And that is equal to 8 over 3 in decimal is 2.67. Yung mga kailangan nating values. So we have now the values of A, B, and C, and length of the latus rectum, and half of the length of the latus rectum. We can now determine the important parts of the ellipse, the location of the important parts of the ellipse, the foci, the vertices, the covertices, and the endpoints of the latera recta, and the equation of the directrices. Okay? So here is the summary ng mga values na na-compute natin kanina. We have A. Yung na-compute nating A, ito yung length of semi-major axis, 6 units. That is the distance from center to one of the vertices of the ellipse. We have 2A, ito yung length of the major axis, equivalent to 12 units, which is 2 times 6 only, 12 units. Itong 2A na to, that is the distance from vertex to vertex of the ellipse. We have B, yung na-compute natin. Ito yung length of semi-minor axis, equivalent to 4 units. Yun din yung distance ng center to one of the endpoints of the conjugate axis. Also 2B, ito yung length ng minor axis. That is from B1 to B sub 2. Yun yung distance of the endpoints of the conjugate axis. And then we have C, 2 square root of 5 or 4.47. Yun naman yung distance ng focus from the center of the ellipse. Na-compute din natin yung LR. By the way, I forgot, pwede yung 2C. Yung 2C natin dito, ito yung distance from focus to focus. Ano? So that is 4 square root of 5. Okay? And yun na lang, 4 square root of 5. And LR natin, 16 over 3, 5.33. Or half ng latus rectum, 8 over 3, 2.67. And the equivalent standard form na nakuha natin kanina is x squared over 36 plus y squared over 16 equals 1. So ito yung summary natin. At kailangan natin ito in sketching the graph of the ellipse. So okay, we're now going to sketch the graph of the ellipse. Given these values, we have a equals 6, b equals 4, c equals 4.47, lr over 2 is 2.67, and this is the given standard, the solved standard equation of ellipse. So, kunin muna natin yung vertices. Sabi natin, ang vertices is located at A0 for V sub 1. For V sub 2, we have negative A0. So, ang A natin is 6. So, therefore, B sub 1 is located at C60 and B sub 2 at negative 6, 0. So, i-plot natin yon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, nandito yung B sub 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nandito yung B sub 2. Okay? Next is the co-vertices 0B and 0 negative B. So, B sub 1 is 0B, 0, and B is 4. So, 0, 4. B sub 2 is 0, negative 4. Okay? So, nandito siya. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Then the foci, F1 is C0. C is 4.47. So, we have F1 is 4.47, 0. And then F2 is negative 4.47, 0. So, nandito yung 4.47. 1, 2, 3, 4.47, somewhere here. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.47, somewhere here. Okay. Now, yung lateral recta, dadaan yan sa focus. So, we have CB squared over A. So, location nito I will be, C is 4.47, comma. Ang B squared over A natin, that is LR over 2. Okay? Yun yung LR over 2. LR over 2 is 2.67. So, 2.67. Okay. So, nandito yun. 4.47, 2.67. So, dadaan dito. 1, 2.67, somewhere here. Sa baba din, 1, 2, 2.67, somewhere here. So, ito yung ating E1. Ito yung ating E2. Okay, so we have 4.47, comma, and negative 2.67. Sana basa pa. Yan. So, sa kabila naman, negative C. So, that is negative 4.47, comma, 2.67. That is for A sub 3. Dito naman, negative 4.47, comma, negative 2.67. So, that is E sub, so it should be E sub 4. So, 2.67 here. So, ito. 2.67 here. So, we have sketch na natin. Okay. So, ito yung ating ellipse. Okay. So, ito yung lateral recta natin. Okay. Dalawa. Yan. Okay. So, ang haba nito, C, from focus, tapos from here, A siya. Tapos ito, B, ang taas. From here, B. Tapos dito, ito yung LR over 2. O B squared over A. Okay. Lagyan natin itong pula para maintindihan. Okay. Tapos ito, C. Simula dito. And then, ito yung ating B sub 1, B sub 2, V sub 1, V sub 2, F sub 1, F sub 2, E sub 1, E sub 2, E sub 3, E sub 4. Okay? Now, ito pala yung B squared over A, yung half of the latus rectum. Now, where is our directrix? The directrix is an equation, okay? The equation of the directrix is A squared over C plus or minus. So, this is, pinahuli ko talaga, plus or minus of A squared is 36 and C is 4.47. So, what have we got? I think that is equal to 2 square root of 5. Kasi natin. So, gamitin natin yung 2 square root of 5. So, that is 18. X equals plus or minus 18 over square root of 5. And if you rationalize the denominator, that is x equals plus or minus 18 square root of 5 over 5. In decimal, that is equal to, check natin, 18 square root of 5 divided by 5. That is equal to 8.05 plus or minus, ito natin ilagay, plus or minus 8.05. Ibig sabihin, 8.05 ang layo ng ating vertical line from the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, somewhere here, lampas lang na kaunti. Yan yung isa na directrix. Yung ikalawa na andito, yung negative. Yung positive ito, yung negative na sa kabila. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, nandito. Ito yung directrix. So, that is how to sketch the graph of an ellipse given its general equation or standard equation wherein the center of the ellipse located at the origin of the xy plane. So, kung meron kayong hindi mabasa, just PM me, okay? Mag-message kayo sa akin sa messenger. So, that will be example number 1 of sketching the graph of the ellipse with center at the origin. Thank you.